Hello, welcome to Miss Peepers Reading Corner. I'm Katrina, aka Miss Peepers. Let's talk about books. Today we're doing a book tag, which is called the 10 Untouched Books Book Tag. And it's a really simple premise. The idea is to take 10 books that have been on your TBR for over a year and talk about them. The goal here is to remind yourself of what books you have had for a while that you haven't touched. This tag was created by Rainier Books, and I was tagged by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading. Thank you, Kelly. If you're returning to my channel, you may recall that this mug contains the books that have been on my physical TBR the longest. I've been very slowly pulling books from this and reading them, but I figured this is the easiest way for me to go through rather than spending a ton of time agonizing over which books I want to talk about, what should I tell you. Instead, I'm just going to pull 10 from this mug and I'm going to go find them on my shelves and then we're going to talk about them. So let's do this. All right, I'm gonna go collect these and I'll be back. Now, of course, I did not pull them from my shelves in the order that I just drew them, and I don't remember what order I just drew them. So we're gonna do some movie magic. That's what we're gonna do. So, book number 1, The Employee's Survival Guide to Change by Jeffrey M. Hyatt. I have no idea when and where I picked this book up, except that it was more than 3 or 4 years ago. It has pictures. I mean, this might be fine. I don't know until I read it. I have been listening to the podcast If Books Could Kill, which is delightful. And they talked about the book Who Moved My Cheese, which is also about change. But it's the book they discussed is, and I haven't read that, but I'm going based on their description, that it's very much like corporate first and kind of like, well, if you are as an employer not managing change well, then it must be because of something you did wrong. I don't know if this book is the same or different or if it's useful. It's super short though. It's only like, it's not even 100 pages. And this is some big text. And there are a lot of pictures and things. That's a worksheet. A lot of pictures. So like, I'll try it. I'll give it a chance. We'll see what happens. I do have a plan at some point, and I don't know when this is going to be, but I want to do a project where I sit down with all of my nonfiction books and read the first chapter of each one and decide based on that whether I'm actually at some point going to finish it or just unhaul, because I have collected over the years so many like nonfiction books that I don't even know where I've gotten them all. Like this one. Transfer of Training by Mary Broad. That I put a sticky note over it because there's some like individuals information in here and location information. This came from a corporate library. They were getting rid of books and someone snagged this for me. It's called Transfer of Training by Broad and Newstrom. I have no idea if this is even relevant to me, quite frankly. Chapter 1 is called HRD and the Transfer Problem. I don't even know what that means. Let's see. Human Resource Development. That's what HRD stands for. A critical resource for organizational success. So I guess this has to do with maybe making sure that you have like cross training and stuff. This looks really boring. I think CPR job aid? What? Why is there a CPR job aid in here? Oh, it's an example of a job aid. Okay. Certificate of completion. You know what? I don't want this. An outcome of this exercise is I'm going to unhaul this book because I'm never going to read this. Those are the 2 nonfictions that came out. The rest is, I believe, fiction. So, Hard Times by Charles Dickens. This is a Penguin Classic edition. It is edited, so it's been cut down. I do want to read this. I feel like, I don't know if I've read this before. I'm going to be really, really honest. I don't think I have. I think I've seen like an adaptation of it, probably. Dickens is, of course, a very heavily adapted author. And so this is about a Lancashire mill town in the 1840s. Okay. All right. So this is like anti-factory, an anti-factory fictional story. I mean, I can get behind that. Factories can be horrific institutions, especially in the 1840s, where people were just like shoved in and overworked, and there were no employee protections or unions or anything like that. So Dickens, of course, was very vocal about such issues as working environments for the, I guess, lower classes. I will probably enjoy this because I do like Dickens. I haven't read Dickens in a while. I started reading David Copperfield and then got distracted, and I'm going to pick that up again. I might at some point replace this with an unabridged version of the book, because this is, of course, very much not. This is very much abridged. Because I want to start like appreciating the full work of Dickens. He was, to be fair, paid by the word. Sometimes that shows, and he does have some padding, but I think seeing that fuller picture of what the book actually has in it it's an interesting experience. So we'll see if I read the abridged version and then unabridged, but this, of course, is staying, and I want to read it at some point. I need to get back into classics. Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. I think I have another Elizabeth Strout on my shelf somewhere. I cannot remember. I think I do. I hear so much about how people love this book, and I've never read it, even though obviously I have a copy. I would like to read it. This is about a retired school teacher in a small town in Maine. And yeah, so she's deplores the changes in her little town of Crosby, Maine, and the world at large. So this should be really interesting about like someone who's older and watching how the world is changing around her, and maybe not being comfortable with those changes. And so I'm curious, it does not say on the back what the time period is. Published in 2008, but that does not mean that is the time period of the book. So I don't know, when we read it, we'll find out. All right, this one's a bit of a chonker, over 500 pages. Let's see. Freddie and Frederica by Mark Helprin. This is a humorous novel about English monarchy, looks like fictional members of the British royal family, and a trip that they take to America. I think we're looking at culture clashes and epic public relations disasters. I do enjoy an epic public relations disaster that doesn't actually hurt anyone except for the people who are creating it, which I hope is what happens. It says rollicking and heartwarming, so I'll take that. Anyway, this sounds fun. I don't know why I haven't picked this up. It's just there. This sounds fun. I should read this sooner rather than later. Speaking of chonkers, we have here, let's see, coming in at almost 750 pages. Oh, a couple sticking to each other. The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Okay. I acquired this book some time ago because I was going to read it in a read-along with booktubers. I don't even remember who was doing it. It's been that long. Anyway, some booktubers were doing a read-along of The Goldfinch. I acquired the book and then didn't read it with them. And then they read it and didn't like it, but I already had it. And then I tried to watch the movie, because Finn Wolfhard is in that movie, who you may know from Stranger Things. And I found the movie boring, so I didn't finish it. Things are not looking good for The Goldfinch. And then on top of that, I have since learned that Donna Tartt herself is problematic, to say the least. I don't know if I'm ever actually going to try to read this or not. I don't know. I've never read Donna Tartt before. The Secret History is her other big book. I don't know if I would like that or not. I don't know if I would like this or not. Cool cover, though. I do like the cover design. They did a good job with that. But, this is a maybe. I'm going to mull on this one. I might have to do a self-destruct TBR with some of these books. I've never done that before. I've seen other booktubers do that, if like picking at the beginning of the year. If I don't read this subset of books during the year, then I get rid of them. That's a book I could totally see doing that with, and just saying, okay, let's make a decision. Let's make a decision. Meanwhile, Eggshells by Katrina Lawley. I don't even know what this book is about, except that though she spells it differently, she has a lovely name. Let's see. So this is a quirky, touching debut novel about loneliness, friendship, and hope. So this is about a whimsical Irish woman, and she advertises in the newspaper for a friend named Penelope. Okay, and apparently this is a dark comedy as well, which is fun. All right. I mean, I don't read a whole lot of Irish literature, so here we are. We've got one. So yeah, we'll see. Well, this sounds fun. I'm definitely gonna hang on to this and read it at some point. Okay. The Autograph Man by Zadie Smith. I have had this book, gosh, I feel like I've had this book since maybe college, possibly high school. Have I had this long? When was this published? Let's see. Let's see if I could have had it that long. 2002. I could not have had this since high school, but I could have had it since college. Not to age myself or anything. I have read White Teeth, which is another book by her. I read that some time ago. Maybe that's what I read in high school. I don't know, man. I don't know when any of these books were published. Time is an illusion. Regardless, this is about a man who sells autographs. So this is like a humorous, maybe philosophical novel about a man who sells autographs. I don't really know much more about it than that. I remember enjoying White Teeth. I remember thinking this was well written, or that was well written and a good story. So, though I don't really remember quite what that was about because it's been so long. Regardless, we'll keep this one, and I look forward to reading it. Okay. The New York Trilogy by Paul Auster. There are 3 books in here. City of Glass, Ghosts, and The Locked Room. And I assume that they are all set in New York. Hence, the New York Trilogy. Someone who receives a strange phone call in the middle of the night and becomes enmeshed in a mystery. The second one is about someone who's been hired to spy on someone else. And the third book is about a man who has disappeared, leaving his wife and baby. And the narrator is trying to figure out what happened to him, I guess. All right. Well, I literally know nothing about this book. This is part of my problem, is that I get books from all sorts of sources. I will wander a used bookstore and choose things based on vibes. Sometimes I'll choose it because I've heard about it, I know something about it, or maybe I've read it before, like years ago, and want to read it again, but I don't have a copy, so I'm filling out my library. Of course, I'm gifted books from time to time by friends and family. I don't know by which avenue this book came to me, but it sounds interesting, and I guess I'll have to let you know when I read it. All right. And finally, Let It Snow, 3 Holiday Romances by John Green and 2 other people. Maureen Johnson. I didn't write all their names on here because it didn't fit. By John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle, whose name I forgot earlier. This is like a romance. It's a 3 romantic stories that like intertwine with one another. Because they're all set in the same town. I think, yeah, they're all set in the same town. I know there was an adaptation on Netflix. I have not seen it. And actually, now a film on Netflix. We got this. I hate the fake stickers. Like, I understand, okay, quick rant. I understand, publishers, that you want to connect in people's brains. This thing has been adapted. Maybe you saw the movie. Maybe you like Netflix productions in general, because I mean they are typically pretty high quality, although lately it's more hit or miss. The more they do, the more hit or miss they become. But regardless, that's beside the point. From a marketing perspective, you are connecting the customer's mind to something else so that they're more likely to pick up the book. I 100% understand that. Why is this not a sticker? I suppose it probably has to do with, here's my guess. I imagine it's a money thing. It's probably cheaper just to make it part of the print, because you don't have to then print the cover and then stick a sticker on it separately. You don't have to like spend extra money on the extra paper and ink to print the sticker and put it on the book that already has paper and printing on it, ink on it. But so many people, because I hear this a lot, so many people would like to peel this off. And I'm one of them. I would totally peel this off. Unless I watched it and was like, yes, this is like an amazing adaptation that I want to remember that I watched. No, no one does. No. Publishers, knock it off. At least with a prize. Like, okay, Olive Kitteridge had the Pulitzer, for example. Like, first of all, that's much classier, and it actually like fits in with the general vibe of the cover. They did an okay job with that here too, because it's like the red and white. But I don't know, like the Pulitzer Prize is an achievement. I don't know. Not that an adaptation's not an achievement, but like you're selling, you're cross-selling. Here it is. I'm working this out as I'm talking. You're not trying to sell me the Pulitzer Prize. You might be trying to tell me that the Pulitzer Prize is a big deal, so I should read more books that have been selected, either nominated or have won the Pulitzer. And that's fair. But like, I'm not then going to go out and buy a Pulitzer Prize. Like, I'm not going to go buy a product from the Pulitzer Prize committee or whatever. You know, like, that's the difference to me. This, you are cross-advertising, because now you are saying, go on Netflix, or if you don't have one, get a membership so you can watch the adaptation of this book. And I understand why that's mutually beneficial for you and for Netflix, you the publisher, whoever this is, Penguin Books in this case. I get that. Penguin is not the only group that does this. This is a Random House book. Penguin's not the only group that does this, so I'm not picking on them specifically. But like, look, I just want to buy a book and you're trying to sell me a bunch of other shit too. Just stop. Just anyway, I'll end here my rant about late stage capitalism and instead come back to this book. I bought this book because I really like John Green. If you've been here before, you probably know that. I have read one book by Maureen Johnson, which was what was it called? Which was The Guide to Not Getting Killed in a Quaint English Village, which I think is not like her normal stuff. I think she typically writes YA, if I remember correctly, but that book was delightful and a lot of fun. I've never read Lauren Miracle before, but I believe, does she also write? I don't know if she typically writes YA as well, or if she writes romance. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Lauren Miracle. But anyway, I bought this book, excited about that, but then I'm a little concerned that it's going to be a little too schmaltzy for my taste, because it's giving Hallmark movie a little bit, but maybe not. I don't know. But it's basically like 3 novellas in one. It's a neat idea for a project. There's 3 novellas in one that kind of intersect with each other. So like 3 authors write their stories and then somehow communicated and like figured out how to make references perhaps to each other, which is cool. But yeah, I don't know. If you've read this and you're not typically a romance reader, which I'm really not, and not that this is like, I mean, I know there's romance and there's romance, you know, but like, if you're not typically a romance reader and you have read this, let me know what you thought. And actually, let me know what you thought about all of these. I'm gonna stack these up stack these up in a way that I'm hoping they will not all fall. Although I know that many people watch BookTube videos that discuss a lot of books. Hi, Sylvie Bear. Miss Sylvie. So that they can watch the books fall over. But let's see. Ugh. Okay, Nicole at Noteworthy Fiction does this a lot. And I'm probably going to tag her. Nicole, I'm going to tag you because you do this a lot. Where she picks up like a big stack of books, because she'll make a 3,000 page TBR and then, you know, read those books or try to read those books. Sometimes she drops them. But I'm always impressed when here we go. This is a little bit stressful. So here are the books that I discussed today. I am definitely going to get rid of this transfer of training. I don't care. It's not relevant to my 9 to 5. It's not relevant to my personal life. That's out. The rest I'm going to keep. Goldfinch is on the fence. But let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought of them. Do you think I should keep them? Do you think I should try to read them? Or should I just like make space for other books? You know, because clearly I have plenty. Okay. That's heavy. That's really heavy. Anyway, I'm gonna tag some people. I don't know who I'm tagging yet. I just said I'm gonna tag Nicole, and I'm sure I'll tag other people, and I'll tag other people too. I hope you enjoyed this video. I encourage you to, you know, if I don't tag you specifically, consider yourself tagged if you want to be, if you have a channel or any kind of, you know, media related to books. I mean, if you do make this video because you watched my video, I'd love for you to tag me so I can take a look at it. I'd love to watch it. If you don't have a channel, put your answers in the comments. Like, what are the 10 books? What are 10 of the books, or any of the books that have been sitting on your shelf for a bit, maybe giving you the side eye. But I thank you for watching. I hope everything is going well with you. And Sylvie is maybe are you messing with my new curtains? I got new curtains. Do you like my new curtains? Sylvie is investigating them. She better not pull them down, because I really like them. They're really pretty. Yeah, they're really pretty. Just like you. You match. Look at this like nice little vignette. See if I can. And whatever you do, keep reading. And I'll see you in the next one.